Stated this before previously, and I'm going to state it again now. This jellybean situation has gone way too far on another level, to the point where people are even making suggestive, actually not even suggestive, just pure R34 comics about jellybean, or just R34 drawings and images, which is actually disgusting as they are only like 16. But first, where do we start off with this whole jellybean situation? Now, if you've been living under a rock or you've been using a flip phone for the past couple of months, you wouldn't know who jellybean is. Jellybean is essentially a comfort streamer slash PNG tuber who essentially makes quick little YouTube shorts for like a little kid demographic. Multiple people have called her cringe and criticized her content for being cringe in the past couple of months, which I found was kind of dumb, as a lot of the hate and harassment she was getting was extremely unnecessary, but some of the content creators understood that. But essentially she got into multiple controversies, like where she was allegedly accused of saying the N-word, even though that was a provenly false screenshot. She called a fake, and bear with me here, I know this sounds silly, a fake, not real, Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic, the P word.
Sorry, I just threw it. You pedophile!
It's past your bedtime. You must be punished.
No, he's a pedophile! He's a pedophile, chat! He's a pedophile! No me gusta! No me gusta, chat! Motherfucker, chat! Where the fuck do I run, chat? Where do I run?
And people genuinely got mad at her, and it is so silly. But essentially, previously I had made a video about them getting doxxed, and that had some mixed reception in the comment section, as people were thinking we're just trying to defend the dox, which is actually disgusting, because doxing someone on any other level is just never okay. Of course, I mean publicly, taking their information if they were doing a set thing that may have been, you know, like violating the law to get their information and then give it to police department, something along those lines is probably acceptable, of course, depending on the circumstance. But in this situation, it was just a baseless dox to give pure stress to a poor 16-year-old who has done nothing wrong aside from make content for a certain demographic on the internet. Which is one of the arguments I brought up previously. Their content isn't cringe. It's for children. It's how you keep children's attention span is by yelling and having all these editing movements, but that's besides the point. If you are a jellybean hater who supports the dox and supports this Rule 34, then I'd like you just to put yourself in jellybean's shoes for this situation as I go through this video, as it seems that none of these people can look from the perspective of others and clearly don't understand the severity of drawing R34 of a 16-year-old. So watch with me. Why did you came inside? I told you I'm... Oh my god. Well, guess you'll be a mother. Hopefully, the child will not be as cringe as you, Oh! I can't believe I actually just read that. I actually can't believe I just read that off. That's like reading off your ancestry test and finding out your real dad is your uncle. Like, it's just not something that you want to see. And the image that follows is even more disgusting, but the fact that they make comments about the cringe content while drawing R34 of a 16-year-old minor goes to show how the community of jellybean harassers slash haters has actually gone, like, to another degree. You guys clearly don't understand what you're doing and how it can affect other people's lives, and as much as I don't want to sound like a middle school teacher who's like, well, you get what you get and you don't get upset, I don't want to sound like that. I want to be all high and mighty, but like, come on, it's to a certain degree where you actually have to understand different people's perspectives on things. Like, sure, I get it, making fun of people's content, even that's a little far, especially when they're just doing it for a set demographic and getting the bag. If you want to what, sure, go make fun of things, especially when it's compared to these situations, but when it comes to falsely accusing them of things, doxing them, and drawing R34, I don't think there's much more you could actually do other than what they've already done. This situation has gone into a whirlspin of just a bunch of different losers essentially on the internet that are just trying to ruin other people's lives for the sake of their own pleasure, which doesn't make any sense. Unless you get some sick and twisted like aid from this, then you genuinely need to go like seek out a therapist or something, because I'm actually concerned for your mental health. Do you need to talk? I'm open. What am I looking at, bro? What am I looking at? Oh my god, bro, no! She has me devastated. She has me befuddled. Okay, first of all, I believe Red Velvety is 18 and Jellybean is 16. I'm just under the impression of that, so take that claim with a grain of salt. But even if Red Velvety is also a minor, that doesn't make it, like, any better at all. It's still the underlying thing that you're drawing R34 of a minor. Either you're drawing R34 of a minor and an adult doing it, or two minors doing it, which doesn't make it any better, because you're either drawing two minors, which is horribly illegal, or one. So it's a lose-lose scenario. I understand, as the Rule 34 states, it's the rule that everything on the internet can get turned into that. I guess that rule doesn't matter when it's illegal or something, because, yeah. it's illegal. Might I add that these are actually real people and not just internet people to like food for your attention. They're not just AIs that have been built in to be cringe so you can make fun of them, dox them, and draw R34 of them. You know, they have real lives and real emotions. You understand that, correct? Because like, bro, I just don't get it, man. I just don't get the point of doing this to ruin other people's lives and careers. It's just, I just don't understand it. I've heard in some videos where people state that it's her own community that is drawing this art, and I can guarantee you like 1 out of the 10 people are actually in the jellybean community, and even at that, it's probably ironically, because as we've seen in that prior image, oh god, I don't want to refrain from seeing it again. It literally says in that they're cringe. Who uses that #1 argument for every single argument in the history of time when it comes to Jellybean's content? The Jellybean hater community. It is by no means Jellybean's community's fault this is happening, because all of them are either too young to know what Rule 34 is, or are also PNG tubers themselves. Like, I don't need to take a dig at your community, Jellybean, but come on, you understand, and I understand too. But no one can clearly understand that it's clearly not your community who is doing this. There are people that I've seen that have touched upon this topic in their videos, first of all, horribly at that, and are under the impression that it's Jellybean's fans who are doing this, which it's not. And so many people, and I cannot tell you how much, so many people are uneducated on the age of Jellybean. Jellybean's on 18, I believe, and I'm under the impression that they're 16 years old, but I have not had an open word about that. I have just assumed from multiple of the things that they've posted. There's just so many more of these explicit images over the Bahil.net website, please, and I cannot stress to you enough. I cannot stress to you enough how much I really don't want you to go and find this for yourself. Please, please. It's gonna save you a whole lot of hurt if you just don't check this out, because first of all, it's very illegal, and second of all, it's just disgusting. It's literally some of the grossest shit I've ever seen. Like, this is up here with like the Jaden animations R34 stuff. It's actually just disgusting, explicit, and degrading sort of content that no one wants to see on the internet. And I don't know, I just don't understand the thought process of what the artists were going through when they were creating these images. And I'm literally just speechless on the situation because it makes no sense. And that's one of the only things I can say. It makes no sense. Randomly, someone first started the video happening of making fun of Jellybean, and it is already exaggerated all the way to this point, and people are still in support of this hate campaign of a 16-year-old. Some people were asking in my comment section of my doxing video, and I'm getting on a little side tangent here from the original topic. Some people were asking in my doxing video, what does their age have to do with these situations? What does their age have to do with it? Their age handles how, first of all, mature they can be on handling the situation, and then if, like, let's say for instance, they handle the situation poorly, then they get even more people on their back that are hating them. Because a 16-year-old mind is not developed to the full extent that it should be. A 16-year-old is a minor. A 16-year-old is technically a teenager. They are still in high school. Think about it. You have 1 million subs in high school, but you're getting doxxed and there's Rule 34 made of your avatar over the internet while you're in high school. And there's another reasoning as to why that is. It's because for situations like the doxing situation, they could be still living with their parents. Like, if they get doxxed, then that means their parents are getting doxxed, and I'm sure in a dox bin somewhere, their parents' name and address, if their parents' name and address aren't the same as Jellybean's, then their parents' address, that's probably leaked out somewhere. Who knows how bad that could get to the extent, like, any siblings, any family members, any friends, any, you know, anything really. Same thing we saw with the Red Velvety dox bin. Their parents, their high school, or their school, excuse me, their age, their date of birth, full name, face, baby photos. It's just like, these people clearly have no lives. And I've even gotten DMs from the actual person who originally doxed Jellybean and their face. It's up on screen right now. They were trying to be a little funny, but it's ironic because they said you pull no views, like the amount of bitches, or you pull no bitches and this amount of views you have. They kind of jinxed themselves because like the night after that, my video blew up to now having 32,000 views, which is the most my channel has actually ever reached on a video. Also, thank you for that. But that essentially wraps up this video. If you'd like to go see another one like it, like my previous video on this situation, there should be a card right above right now that states that. Also, if you'd like to go follow my Twitter or even subscribe, because that would just make you cool. Comment down salty is funny if you've made it to this point, and I'll heart your comment. But yeah, that's about it. From a salty from Mexico, bye. By the way, sorry if the quality's really